Marcus Conte reporting with breaking news. Bernie Sanders has grown a pair and has declared victory in Iowa, not only in 2020, but back in 2016. He's declared victory, really, today. The big news is that Bernie Sanders has just gone public on his website, BernieSanders.com, Bernie Sanders on YouTube, whatever, and has declared victory. He said, "We won the mofo." And also, I'll play the piece. He alludes to 2016 because of the change of the way the numbers were calculated, actually calculating the popular vote and having that vote. He alluded to the fact that he beat fucking Hillary Clinton in 2016. So let's hear Bernie in his own words. To declare victory in Iowa. Go, Bernie.
So what I want to do today, 3 days late, is to thank the people of Iowa for the very strong victory they gave us at the Iowa caucuses on Monday night.
Strong
Even
victory.
though the vote tabulations have been extremely slow, we are now at a point with some 97% of the precincts reporting where our campaign is winning the popular initial vote by some 6,000 votes. In other words, some 6,000 more Iowans came out on caucus night to support our candidacy than the candidacy of anyone else. And when 6,000 more people come out for you in an election than your nearest opponent, we here in northern New England call that a victory.
My brother, calling it a victory. Roll over, Pete Buttigieg. I know you might like that. Roll over. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. We're coming through. We beat you by 6,000 votes. Bernie Sanders, this is what you got to do, man. You should have did it the night before, but whatever. He's got the numbers now. He's got the numbers.
Further, in Iowa, as you all know, there is a realignment process where people who supported a candidate with less than 15% in the room can cast a vote in a second round for a different candidate. That's that realignment process. In that process, we are now ahead by over 2,500 votes.
So Bernie makes the case. I made the case this morning, if you watched the stream. He makes the case that he won the popular vote by 6,000. He played by the Iowa rules with the reshuffle, the realignment, where people that didn't get their candidate didn't get 15%, they can move over to somebody else. And in that vote as well, he won by 2,500 votes in a field where there's only a potential 180,000 votes. So significant win on both metrics. Bernie Sanders has declared victory.
In a election with voter turnout of approximately 180,000 people and with 8 strong candidates competing, a victory margin of some 6,000 votes is pretty decisive.
It's a blowout. It really is a blowout. 6,000 votes, blowout.
And the reason that happened is because of the unprecedented grassroots effort of our volunteers. Thousands of volunteers in Iowa knocked on hundreds of thousands of doors. They did that in the snow, they did that in the rain, and they did that in freezing temperature. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank all of those volunteers for the extraordinary effort that they made, which made our victory possible. Now
Hey Bernie, why don't you thank some of the commentators here on YouTube plugging your shit day and night, God damn it.
Everyone knows, the Iowa process is enormously complicated. In my view, it is far too complicated. And one word, if I might, about the so-called state delegate equivalents, SD.
Okay, so he's going to clarify the number that the mainstream media is running around the clock, saying that Buttigieg won, edged him out by 1/10 of 1%. Now watch Bernie explain it. He'll explain it very clearly.
Ease that the cable news and political pundits have spent so much time pontificating about. Because of changes to Democratic Party rules that were widely supported during the Democratic Unity Reform Commission, these state delegate equivalents have greatly diminished importance from past caucuses, and they should. In the past, a candidate with more delegates to the state and county conventions could actually change the number of national delegates who go to the national convention from that allocated on caucus night. That is no longer the case. As it stands right now, to the best of my knowledge, either I or Mr. Buttigieg will end with a tiny fraction of an advantage in the SDEs. I think he's ahead now by some 3.5 state delegates out of 2,150 total number of delegates. That may change. We may go in the lead by a little bit. Given the remaining precincts outstanding and mathematical errors, which we are discovering in the data, we could well end up with more SDEs. But this difference, no matter who inches ahead in the end, is meaningless.
It's what? It's what? Did you hear that, mainstream media?
We are discovering in the data, we could well end up with more SDEs. But this difference, no matter who inches ahead in the end, is meaningless.
Meaningless.
Because we are both likely to receive the same number of national delegates to the Democratic National Convention in Milwaukee. I think right now it is about 11 each, probably go up a bit. Those national delegates, not the state delegates, are the ones that really matter in the nominating process. And now that Iowa...
Clear as a bell, right? So the SDEs that the mainstream media, we find out, is running round the clock as the victory note, is the victory metric, is inaccurate because it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't the national delegates, the 11 national delegates, that's what gets passed on to the convention. The state delegates mean nothing, but the mainstream media is running with it instead of running with the fact that Bernie Sanders wins the popular vote by 6,000, wins the adjusted vote by 2,500. That is a decisive victory in 2020. So Bernie Sanders has declared that. Now here's where he makes some news. It was just an accidental question. Wait until you hear this. When he's proposed the question about 2016. Listen to this shit right here. All right? Listen to this shit. Because in 2016, when he ran against Hillary Clinton, they didn't count the popular vote. All they did was look at they let people realign, and then they took that number, and that was the number. Right? They didn't look at the popular vote where all the people, right? So listen to what he says about this. Listen to this revelation. This is a revelation. This is breaking news.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, based on these inconsistencies that we're seeing in the results, and because this is the first time that we've had the popular vote results, does this make you question the results of the 2016 Iowa caucuses? And do you think that there should be a caucus system at all?
All right, that's a good...
Well, let's get his expression, man. That was a great expression. Watch it.
Hi, based on these inconsistencies that we're seeing in the results, and because this is the first time that we've had the popular vote results, does this make you question the results of the 2016 Iowa caucuses?
That's the look right there, man. That just says the whole fucking shit right there. Look at Bernie. All right. There you go, man. There you go. All right. So listen to the comments.
And do you think that there should be a caucus system at all?
All right, that's a good question. I don't want to revisit 2016. All I can say is you're right.
Come on.
We fought for, by the way, the fact that we now have clear results of the popular vote is something that we fought for. That did not exist in 2016. Now, I can't give you a definitive answer as to what happened in 2016. I don't know. I don't think anybody knows. It turned out that in 2016, I think Secretary Clinton got one or two more delegates than we got in the state process. There is some supposition that we actually won the popular vote.
There is some supposition that we actually won the popular vote. Oh, man. See? It was worth waiting for. It was worth waiting for to expose the cheating when you're winning. Oh, I guess Bernie Sanders is playing some 4D chess here. I guess he was ahead of us the whole time.
I can't say that definitively. I can say definitively that in 2020, we did win the popular vote. And I want to reiterate to you, so we're clear. You got 180,000 people voting. When you got 8 candidates, when you win the popular vote by 6,000 votes, that is a pretty good victory.
That is a pretty good victory. Wow. That was fucking great, right? Bernie Sanders growing some testicles, growing some balls, some gonads, and putting it on the fucking table, saying, we won this thing. Bernie Sanders declaring victory in 2020 and stepping back in time to 2016, pointing it out. Oh, by the way, there was no popular vote, and guess what? We probably won that mofo, right? We were paying attention, right? We won that mofo. We won, right? Now Hillary Clinton will come out and try to stick a knife in his back saying Bernie Sanders is declaring victory. I won. No, I won. I got more votes. Hillary Clinton, I got more votes. Marcus Conte reporting.